Hello, hello. Oops. Hello, hello.
What up? What up?
Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me all right?
Doing well. Hey, Michael.
You're breaking up a little bit there. I don't know.
Hello. I'll
Hey,
recycle.
there we go. Well, yeah. Recycle real quick. We'll do her. Oh, well, what's up, guys? Talking about the Cosmic Summit coming up here. Oops. In a week and a half, a little more than a week. Greensboro, North Carolina. There we
Yeah,
go.
man. Is volume better?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
Yeah, so are you a part of this, like organizing it then, or?
I've been, yeah, but I'm not the principal. The principal is a friend of mine, and I've helped for the last 2 years. And this year, I was not going to go because I've heard all the speakers, and they're kind of on their legs now, and pretty stable. And but there's been this development that our group that looks into next generation physics has an interest to get together, and most of these people have not heard, the presentations, a lot of which again I've seen in the last 2 years. But that's going to be for 2 days, the summit proper, and there'll be a bunch of great presentations, and there's going to be a lot of new information. And then we're going to do 2 days, almost 3 days of a next generation physics roundtable discussion. And we're bringing in some people. And, if you're part of the ticket package, you're welcome to be part of that. And that's the reason I sent it to you. You seem to have an interest in physics. And yeah, I think what we're going to try to do is get everybody to weigh in and try to figure out some sort of research matrix and maybe some common agreement on certain aspects of what the next generation framework may look like. And we've got, Bob Grenier is going to be presenting. Um, Science Bob McGuire is coming. Stan Deo has been invited. He hasn't accepted yet based on Nate's reaching out to him. And Roy Herbert. We've got probably 25 people that are just interested in what we've been talking about. So the long story short is we're going to do 2 days at Cosmic Summit if you want to go. And again, I got a cheap ticket for you, trying to help them out. They were nice enough to give me a package for a bunch of tickets. And then after that, we're going to have a 2 to 3 day roundtable discussion and planning session for what we're going to do to bring forward some aspect to stand up a next generation physics, at least assertion. Because if you get right down to it, at the end of the day, the two things that I feel, and other people seem to agree, that we can easily demand from the government relative to this whole disclosure process is a release of the sequestered energy patents and a release of any of the medical technology. So if we can stand up a next generation physics statement with some credible people, then I think we can make some progress on that whole energy front. And it's just really exciting. And people are so really ready to do something as opposed to sitting around and just waiting for, the sky to fall or whoever else might do something. So that's the long and the short. And we look forward to having you if you want to come.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly far from credible. I'm I'm a welding school graduate. I didn't go to no college really, just tech school. But I've got all kinds of stuff I'd love to
That's okay. I
share.
mean, Nate is not a college graduate. He's a high school dropout, I think. He may have his GED, but he's brilliant. Al, who I don't know if you've met him in these spaces, another high school dropout, frickin' brilliant. The point being is, just like we have to do in disclosure, we're going to have to educate ourselves and we're going to have to do whatever we need to do ourselves if we're going to make any progress here. And on the physics front, the good news on that is pajama researchers, as George Howard, who founded the Cosmic Summit, likes to discuss the people that are interested in the issues that the summit is generally discussing. But, it's like he calls all the people that are interested pajama research. And there's tons of people out there that are doing really credible deep dives on their own. And if we can provide a network for people to plug in, I think we can find some, uncommon wisdom to tackle these problems because we're going to have to think outside the box. And it's clear that the physics community has been totally co-opted, and that's criminal in and of itself, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, yeah. That's becoming more and more apparent every single day. The more they release, the more I realize how on the mark some of us are. I mean, you know Nate and Roy and Tom and all the rest of the guys here. I've kind of just stumbled into this trying to figure out what electricity is, and I could go into detail of how I've come upon this, but you're right, it's totally co-opted and just getting worse and worse by the day. Yeah, I'd love to come. I'd love to do everything like you're saying. The issue with me was, again, it was looking pretty expensive to try and get there. Um, it's unfortunate because
Where are
I'm
you
also
traveling from?
Minnesota, so I'll have to buy a plane ticket.
Where? Oh, okay. Um, I'm trying to think if anybody is traveling from that area.
But at the same
Yeah,
time,
you probably would, but I mean,
go ahead.
I think you could probably get a ticket, probably round trip for like 300 bucks.
Oh, for a flight, yeah. I was looking at the tickets for the Cosmic Summit, and it's like you get a 2 day pass.
No, 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 no. I've got you covered for 250 bucks, not 1,500. That's what I was saying.
Well, that changes the game, you see. That's why I'm like, hey, can we have a conversation? Because that's literally like, I'll do it, and this will be the coolest thing ever if you're serious.
Dead serious. I've got the tickets. You have an interest in physics. Those are the people that I'm trying to identify, and I think that you would enjoy listening to do so.
Oh, yeah. Beyond. Of course, yeah. Uh, so I guess how do we go about this then? I was getting kind of squirrely when you said just meet me
Well,
there.
you just Well, I understand that, but I mean, once you decide that you want to come, all you need to do is buy a plane ticket and get here, and I will have a ticket in your name. You got to give me your proper name, and you and 11 other people are going to get a cheap ticket, and we're going to have a hell of a conference.
Wow, when you put it like that, I mean, all right, bet. I guess I'll just send you my. Do you want an email or anything, or do you want to just DM?
Just send me a DM with your name. I'm going to send in either tomorrow or Friday the master list of who's going to be attending, and then he's just going to set aside 12 tickets for each of the individuals that I've identified, and I'll just pay him and then collect from everybody else.
Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and
Well,
find a plane
that's
ticket.
great, man. I'm excited you could come. That's again, I saw that you were interested in physics. That's the reason I reached out.
Yeah. I didn't mean to get so interested, but it just kind of happened that way. uh, but it's the best thing ever. So yeah, I'll be there. Like I said, it was a money issue, but $250 versus 1,500, that's a bargain. Can't pass that up.
I can tell you where there I can tell you where there's a very cheap hotel right next to the event site. So I think you can get by on that pretty cheap too. You should have fixed costs, except for food, 600-700 bucks.
Perfect. Okay, I can make that work. Awesome.
Cool. Well, we're really glad you can come.
Likewise. Yeah, I'll get that all figured out. If you want to, well, we'll just figure it out in the DMs. But
Yeah, just send me a message with your formal name and you're on the list, and get a ticket as soon as possible so you a plane ticket so you can get a cheap rate. And if you want, I'm sure you're aware of this. Plane flights that have a Tuesday return are usually pretty cheap. And if you return late at night, if there's a flight out of Greensboro that connects you back home, you could leave Tuesday after the event and still get home in time and get that cheap ticket. Tuesday returns. Always remember that.
okay. Tuesday returns. I'm looking up flights right now. Are there flights directly into
Well, there
Greensboro?
there may be. I'm not sure. Hey, Des, what you doing? That was a great room you hosted earlier tonight. Chief Dinger's going to come to Cosmic Summit. How about that?
Let's get him up here. Oh, that's hotels. Oops.
Charlotte's a good one to fly into if you're going to Greensboro.
All right. Which
Yeah, Raleigh's pretty good too, but there's getting to be some better strange linkages into Triad International because it's just empty, and they've been working really hard to up their flights. But yeah, Charlotte's got tons of flights. You're right.
Where are you trying to fly into or from?
That
Minneapolis.
was really again.
Indianapolis, you said?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. No. Charlotte's a hub for American, so you can get a lot of nonstop flights into Charlotte because they have a lot of connectors out of Charlotte to other places for
Oh,
American Airlines.
$54 on Expedia? Wait a minute. There's no way. Wait a minute. Could that be real? Is it just.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of those like small airlines that they'll charge you like nothing for a ticket, but they want you to like pay for your bag, pay for your check bag, pay to pick your seat, pay to like all the other little things that go with it.
Hmm.
That's what they do.
June.
Pix, what's up,
Drop ship
man?
whatever you want. Drop ship whatever you want to Greensboro, and then they can't ding you on that stuff. Doing good, Desmond. I really loved your space. You are a good host.
I don't know about all that. It's like my third one ever, but Sarah helps out a lot. When I have a space, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I sort of get people like you and Sarah and Hera and stuff to like help me.
We're
But
all learning
I,
as we go.
I very much enjoyed, and which is crazy for me to ever say these words out loud. I may even deny it if you ever repeat it. But I enjoyed Green Street Space today, which was shocking. Hearing what he was working on and how objective he was about what he's working on. Uh,
Well,
it was
tell me
unexpected.
what you heard. What did you hear? I couldn't listen because he has me blocked.
Oh, well, he doesn't necessarily buy into the hazing hype. He he like openly like admitted that the fellow that he interviewed, the deputy director of Arrow, I can't remember his name, was openly admitting that they have reports and like evidence of the triangles and the orbs that they can't explain. Arrow says that in their official capacity in a report to Green Street of all people, which was shocking to me. Um, he did say that it is that he did
Arrow
reiterate
says
that the
that.
Arrow guy that was being interviewed reiterated that there that this appears to be circular reporting, which we all knew that we've heard that, but also the fact that this basically sanctioned hazing program took place, but they have not provided any of the documentation. Sort of like I was saying in the space, they've not provided any of the information or documentation to substantiate the claim. And to me, dude, I mean, like
I,
I said in my space, I'm okay with whatever it turns out to be. If that's true, the implications are massive. I mean, massive. That's not trivial. Like,
well, I want you to unpack. I want you to unpack that in a second. But let me ask you a quick question. So, as far as Green Street's, let me make sure I remember what you said exactly. The hazing thing was admitted to by the second in command at Arrow. Is that what he was saying?
correct. But he said he doesn't necessarily buy into that story from that guy. He doesn't know if he really buys into the fact that hundreds or thousands of people signed NDAs threatening their lives as a form of like government hazing that lasted multi generations and decades. Which is, dude, like, and that was what I was just saying. That's such a large claim. Like all right, counter intel operations, sure, right? Deceiving your own people at an order of magnitude of hundreds or thousands and making them sign fabricated NDAs that threaten their lives, American citizens. We're not just talking about people in the DoD, right? Most people active in the DoD aren't doing anything in these programs. They might be managing it for the DoD as like a SAP program manager, but the majority of people that are in the DoD that would be in these programs are civilians, civilian
What's up,
employees,
Stinger?
not civilian employees of private companies, but civilian employees of the DoD, and then also civilian
I've
employees
had the
of the private companies working at the behest of the DoD. Right? If that hazing program actually took place, that is probably one of the most, in my opinion, that rivals like Operation Mockingbird and MK Ultra level of deception on American people. That is so huge, in my opinion. And Green Street said in his space that he doesn't necessarily fully buy into that explanation as well.
Well,
But
if he doesn't have receipt, um, I'm not sure we're going to make any progress on that. And the other thing that you'd said about that was that the second in command had acknowledged that there are craft that they've seen, but they're going to, classify them as unidentified, right? So they're not really acknowledging that there's ETs, but they're acknowledging that there's unidentified craft.
correct, triangles and orbs, and their origins are unknown. So
Right. And
origins unknown means that it could be whatever origin.
I'm just trying to make the point that while these are new data points, I'm not sure that we really have anything substantial. But I would agree with you, if that thing can be proven, that's a huge violation of any source of you know law, but also decency and just general operations. Yeah, that's way over the line. I would
You're
agree.
talking multi generations of military leadership perpetuating a lie on U.S. citizens and threatening their lives while doing it. That man,
I
that
get,
is so crazy to me.
I get it, but because you've been in the military, at the end of the day, the problem with this whole issue is it is always being approached from a military national security point of view. And as a result, they're always going to find reasons to sequester information out of the claim for national security. So they've done a whole lot of shit over the years, but national security gives them so much leeway to bury shit. And I agree, it's not right, but it does go on. And you know that they're legally covered too.
I put the bug in people's ear that were in that space that maybe deal with Dopster. I can't do it, and FOIAs. I can't put I. There's no way in my job right now I cannot submit a FOIA for UFO. You know what I mean? No way. But it would behoove someone who does deal in those things to go out and request the FOIAs for the Dopsers, for the people that spoke on the record with Wall Street Journal, the Dopser approvals, who spoke on the record with Wall Street Journal and Green Street's New York Post articles. They had to do it, right? That's allegedly what you have to do if you're in coming out of a program where you had a clearance and you're speaking about that program. You've got to go through that approval program. You have to, right?
Right.
I'd love to see those claims. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you can be sure that Greenwald is certainly already written up his FOIA request on that. I would think.
I certainly hope he has. And then also adopts a request on the memo that was allegedly created by the Department of Air Force in 2023 telling them to stop hazing people with this program. Like, I would love to see that memo. Like, these are
I mean,
data
that
points
one
that
should
are
not be that
verifiable.
agreed. I don't think that one should be that hard to get a hold of if it exists.
Shouldn't be if it exists. Shouldn't be classified. It's already known in the public record right now by officials that worked in the DoD. You know, like these facts, if they are truly facts, are not trivial. Like and they're easily verifiable, I think. But I don't know. So those are some of the things that I took out, and that's why I wanted to have a space because I wanted to get other people's opinion on it that listen to him. I have not listened to his article with the guy yet.
That,
I just went based off of what he was saying, which was also strange that he actually like did a space on this today, impromptu, allowed outside questions, and had specific bullet points that he wanted to cover in that space. Don't you think that that's strange?
you saying
Correct.
Green
Yeah.
Street?
Green Street.
Who? Why? Well, why would that be
For
strange?
him to have like points that he wanted to cover and for him to unsolicited, like, dude, I was one of the first people in the space listening, and I happened to send a request. He brought me up and said, "Hey, man, you got a question?" Like, I didn't expect that. I didn't even expect to be brought up. I just said, "Well, I'm going to request and ask." You know, it. I did not expect him to be so, unless it's just him promoting his art, his reporting. I didn't expect him to be so free and open with communicating with folks. He was actively asking people to ask him questions, to bring him up and ask him questions. It was shocking. It was shocking.
I mean, the guy is in the. But I don't think that's shocking at all. That's in the media game. He's after clout and followers, and he's going to mix it up with the public anytime he can. If he has an opportunity, and I would do the same thing if I was him.
But he's such a contrarian all the other times in his X profile. Like that's just how he is with the people in this community. He is a known contrarian. You have to agree with that, right? Like he
Well,
does not approach people in this community with
I
very
think
much
he's a
respect.
hack.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Well, I would agree with that. He doesn't approach anybody with respect.
He was
I think
very
he's personally, as a journalist, I think he's a complete hack.
he was very approachable today, and he was respectful of folks today. I don't know if he's changing the tune because someone in authority admitted that
Well,
there's UFOs
good. I,
to the tune of triangles and orbs. Maybe, I don't know. But JJ, oh, you didn't get to hear it. Never mind. I was going to ask you what you thought of the Green Street space, but I think that you said you couldn't listen to it.
opportunity. He's going to go where No, but it's going to, and that's something you can count on with regard to Green Street. And Chief, I have in this conversation. If you need to jump in and shut us up, and also I'm sure Jay Just would love to come up and speak. Maybe not.
I'm not going to be able to make it to Greensboro for that conference as much as I want to. It's just we're getting into, you almost want to call it Hell Week in launch preps for Crew 11. We just have I have 7 boards that we got to, engineering review boards and program control boards that we got to get through, and it's just I can't get away right now, unfortunately.
No worries. I mean, I think you'd said that in a message earlier. I'd put you on the list of remote
I was hoping to.
listener attendees. So
Yeah. I was truly hoping to come
we'll
up
get
and
a
just
link
and
so
meet
you
some
can
folks,
listen
you know.
in. Yep, we got you covered.
Yeah, I gotta say, interesting story. I'm not aware of who this Green Street guy is, or the space, or the information he's putting out. But this it's weird how many feds there are on X. Like you just kind of stumble around and end up talking to a few of them. I'm not saying
I'm a
that's.
Fed,
Hey, there you go. See what I mean?
like
They're everywhere.
like like for real, like not even joking. But I'm not like a counterintelligence or any of that shit. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah. Uh, I guess that's more so what I'm saying is there's a lot of
That's what
counterintelligence just
you
being
say anyway.
right,
hmm
pigs.
the whole
That's funny.
disinformation thing's overused and annoying to say, but it's super true.
Chief, Chief, there's din- there's disinfo people. There's disinfo people everywhere in these spaces, and you just need to know that going in. Good reason.
Yeah, 100%. Um, it's a little scary actually, but you stumble upon it and you just move on. I haven't had no. Well, yeah. Anyways, I was gonna say it's kind of weird. This Robert Salas guy, he's I don't know if you've heard his story before. Um, he was at some Air
Sure,
Force.
Sal is very famous in this field.
You
Yeah,
know him?
and he's actually gave a full-throated rejection of the Wall Street Journal article. He does not get very public, but I think he took this personally, and he's basically. I can put that in the nest if you want.
Yeah, you want to break that down real quick? And I might have to jump out here, but
I'm going to let Desmo break it down. He might actually have a little bit better handle on that leg of the story, but I'll put the response from Solace in the thread.
So Robert Salas was a fella that was in the Air Force, I think. I believe it was Air Force that worked in a nuclear weapons, like a nuclear missile silo, in essence. And the article in the Wall Street Journal alleged that, so he believed that he saw a UFO that disabled nuclear weapons at his facility, and he reported it, and it was investigated. Um, that that Wall Street Journal article that just came out said that what caused that disabled nuclear weapon to happen was an actual experiment that the Air Force was doing to like test what the effects of an EMP, nuclear EMP, would have on the weapons silo that these nuclear weapons were stored in. Salas rebuts that as even possible, which honestly, it doesn't make much sense that would actually have been the case based off of the equipment that
yeah,
would have been necessary to be in place for that to
I gotta.
test to take place without anybody knowing it.
Yeah, I apologize to cut you off there. I brought him up because I talked to him in April sometime, and at a MUFON meeting, oddly enough, and then he got mentioned on Hell Put Off, and now he disputes it. But I asked him, I was like, "What do you think about us having this technology?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know." He's never seen the MH370 videos, whether you believe those are real or not. I mean, you should at least know about them if you're a guy like Robert Salas. And he just didn't know anything about some of the advanced technology like electron free lasers that can just push the electricity out of circuits and stuff like that. So it was a little disheartening, but I do have to go. I apologize. Elections, I was going to say the oh, what was I going to mention? Oh, I'm a part of the Sign Academy stuff by Robert Caputo. I'd love to get him involved with this roundtable discussion idea because he's got a petition already created on the release of free energy information and such. So I'll talk to him about that more as well.
Send that to me. Yep. Let me give me the information. That sounds like a good idea.
Perfect. So we've got a bunch to hash out in the DMs. Awesome. 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 Well, thank you so much. I do have to go. I apologize. But yeah, thanks again.
Have a good night. I'm glad we got a chance to chat. Desmo, Martin, Marius, whatever your name is. I hope
Likewise.
everybody has a great night.